That's a Nordlead 2X. That's a Prophet Rev2. I've owned this for about 15 years. Recently bought this because I thought I needed an analog polysynth, but turns out they sound pretty much the same. Do they? Did I make a mistake? Are they really the same? Is there any difference between digital and analog? Let's find out. Okay, so here's the story behind this. I've had this for a very long time. It's a cool keyboard. I've used it a lot. I've used it in live situations, but honestly, is analog better than digital? That's a very old question. There's one analog synth which opened my eyes or ears towards the analog world. That's the Behringer Model D. It sounds better than all the software emulations I've tried. There's something about the low end and the energy in this which I think is superior to software emulations of Minimoog sounds. But an analog polysynth is something completely different. I've started with a Minilogue years ago, which was actually my first analog synth, and it's really cool. I really like it. It's great. It's kind of limited because it's small. It's only 4 voices. And I always looked up to those Dave Smith instruments, Prophets, Prophet 6, Prophet 8, and the Rev2. So the Prophet 6 would be an obvious choice, and I'm sure it's amazing, but it's very expensive. So the Rev2 was always an instrument I thought it could fit all my needs. So here's the story why I'm doing this video in the first place. I've wanted to buy one of these, and I saw it on the used market. There was a guy in my hometown selling a Rev2. And I thought, okay, that's a sign. Now I have to pull the trigger and buy this synth. So when I went there to pick it up, he told me, yeah, he liked it, but he didn't really fall in love with it. And he still prefers his Nordlead. And I was like, oh, a Nordlead? I have a Nordlead at home. What the hell am I doing here? Why am I buying the same thing again for still a lot of money? So I was a little bit skeptical, but of course it turned out that this is an amazing instrument, and it's definitely I don't regret it. Maybe let's get the differences, the obvious differences out of the way first. So with the Nordlead, you get a 2 oscillator synth, and you have the envelopes, or the filter. There are 2 LFOs, there's another modulation envelope, and that's basically it. So there's not a lot to it. On the Prophet, there's definitely more stuff. We have the 2 oscillators. We have a sub oscillator, a noise oscillator. We have 4 LFOs. We have our envelopes, and there's a 3rd envelope here that you can route to whatever you want to. There's a mod matrix. There's an arpeggiator. Oh, yeah, this one also has an arpeggiator, which is very basic. Here's an arpeggiator and a sequencer. And the big thing here is the internal effects section. There's a lot more in here, but I will not compare these features because I hardly use the sequencer or the effects, because I will use effects from my computer in post-production or external effects. So yeah, that's not what I want to compare. One thing about the Nordlead which is pretty cool, which I wish the Prophet had, is this unison button. So if I have a patch like this, I can engage unison. And with the 20 voices, what it does, it spreads out the voices, detunes them, and it still can play chords. It's a polyphonic unison. And with the Prophet, if I push the unison button, it's just polyphonic unison, so I can stack all the voices, detune them like crazy. But no way to play chords with this extra sparkle. So if you just initialize both instruments and start up with the saw wave, they are really pretty much the same. I don't know if you can hear any differences. This one sounds a little bit thicker, but there's really not much difference at all. So the idea here is that I'm playing some patches that I really like. And I'm trying to recreate them on the Nord. Let's start with the basic patch again and try to turn it into something. Hey, let's start here. Okay. I want to start with a simple plucky sound. Do the same thing here. We are now pretty close. Now I definitely hear a difference. I'm not sure if it's my fault or if it's a difference in the filter. You can spend years doing this. Let's do something different and add some reverb. Again, there's not a lot of difference here. Let's add the second oscillator. Not even sure if this is a cool sound, but and now at this point I could let's go back to this unison thing. I can do this. Here I can use the pan spread. I can also use the oscillator slop, which makes the oscillators sloppy. And if I do this a little bit, yeah. Can be cool. Let's try to come up with a nice pad sound. Camera battery died, so one more time. Okay, now pad. Let's create a pad. Keep the reverb on. Okay. I want to use the square wave. Here we go. Let's add the second oscillator, another pulse wave. One octave higher, some detuning. Add a little bit of LFO to both oscillators. Again, I'm not going for super crazy sounds. This is just a nice, subtle pad. Here we go. Again, using square wave. Let's add the second oscillator 1 octave up. It's way softer. So you can also try to do the pulse width modulation. Just very different, to be honest. Oh, I'm 2 octaves higher. Oops. But I don't think I can get the similar sound here, because in here I can use 2 square waves and I can modulate the shape individually. So my the lower oscillator, I can put the pulse width exactly here, and for my higher one I can put it in another place, and I can also use the modulation. It's not possible on the Nordlead, so I can only change it for both of them. So now what else could I do to this pad? So on the Nordlead, one thing I can do is push the unison button, and we go from 2, which is always nice, especially when you wear headphones like I do. It's pretty cool. There's no way to do this on here. I can use some panorama spread. And I can also use the noise oscillator on top. Too much. There's, in the filter section, there's this audio modulation knob, which just creates some nice... To be honest, I don't know what exactly it creates, but pretty cool. So when I compare these two sounds now, they are obviously not the same, and I feel like the Prophet lets me go into a direction where I add the noise, add some oscillator sloppiness, so add some dirt or character or whatever you want to call it, grittiness, and this, especially with the unison, it's more very clean and beautiful. This might be an extreme example, but I don't think you can get an analog dirty sound like this on the Nord. Next sound. No idea. There's a lot of LFO stuff happening. let's try to replicate it on the Nord. I'm pretty sure I will fail. One thing that's pretty cool about a Prophet is that you can kind of reverse engineer the sounds. You can hold this show button and turn any knob and it will exactly tell you the setting of this knob. So that's pretty handy. So let's use this to replicate the sound. So we have two triangle waves. They're slightly detuned. They are on the same frequency. No sub level, no noise, no slop. Yeah. Slightly detune them. Not exactly the same. Where does the high end come from? I'm already kind of lost, so let's... Yeah, it's more like this octave. Okay. What do we have on filter page? Cut is low. No envelope. Velocity key. Okay. Let's check the envelope settings. 0, 100, 0. Close. So let's check out the LFOs. Yeah, there. I think this one. Panorama. Oh yeah, turn this down. Okay, but that's pretty cool. So it's basically this one LFO, which is creating this awesome tremolo effect. And I cannot do this here. So the envelope 3 is doing this. Yeah, let's just listen to... I think I know. Let's just listen to oscillator 2 for a second, and we get this boing, this attack, which is just a pitch going down. And I think I should be able to recreate this here, where why does it sound so different? Okay. Only now I realize that to get a real triangle, you would have to put this on 0 and you sound like this, which is... Yeah, I could get there, but now we are doing this. So there's no way to create that waveform on a Nordlead. So I would have to go back to square probably. Maybe. Can't do anything here. I cannot get the shape. And I cannot do this beautiful panorama. Doesn't work. Okay, let's do another one. I like this. Let's go back to more traditional synth sounds. We have two square waves. Great, almost there. swell is much more. It's not bad. They are not the same. I like them both. It's possible to come close. I mean, the question is the difference, which you can clearly hear, is it based on this being digital and this being analog? I don't know. Conclusion. Is it time for a conclusion? Conclusion. Is analog really better than digital? Is this a better synth than that? I don't know. I don't know what to say. I'm super happy to be in the position that I can have such wonderful instruments. I can have both of them, but I also think that I should be able to do all the music I want to do without this and maybe without that. You can do everything inside your computer, but it's pretty cool to have instruments. And with the Prophet, I have the feeling that it is able to inspire me to create music. If you like the sounds on a machine and it inspires you to create something, then it's definitely worth having it. Having said that, you can go through presets on any software synth and find those inspiring, and then that's cool. So okay, so I'm editing the video right now, and I think that's a rather lame conclusion. I think what I wanted to say here is that there's no need to buy any fancy equipment to come up with great music. That's true for analog synths and for a lot of other stuff as well. And on the other hand, if you want to buy a musical instrument which helps you to create your music and it inspires you, and you want to spend your money on something like that instead of going on a vacation with your family, then yeah, go for it. I don't have much more to say. Let's use these to make music. definitely have to keep both. They actually make a great combo. Who would have thought? Scheiße.